Are you tired of the same topics being parroted around the spiritual community without any use of discernment or intuition? Me too. Let's be friends. Okay, but in all seriousness, I think people really are doing the best that they can in the times that we're in. I think that people see spiritual leaders, they hear what they talk about, and they adopt those beliefs as their own without using their own intuition and discernment and common sense a lot of the times. And I'm just here to shine my light on a lot of these topics. So if that's something that you like, watch this video. Now, this is piggybacking off of my last video, which was about controversial spiritual opinions, specifically on 5D and ascension. What I have really been feeling and seeing over these past few years could be described more as a frequency expansion within this process of uncovering and returning to our true selves and our true essence. So one, I don't think that this earth is fully moving out of 3D frequency, because there are elements of this earth that will always be in the 3D, as well as people who will always be in the 3D element of the earth. When we look at nature does hold a higher frequency than what we would call the matrix, or this unnatural way of living that we have been accustomed to as humans. However, there is this element of 3D, of survival, of, predator and prey, and that element will never go away. So when I say frequency expansion, that expansion at the very center and core, we can imagine it being 3D. And it starts to expand outward into these higher frequencies. Not that I don't think the earth naturally can hold and sustain these higher frequencies. I think it has to do with the human collective consciousness simultaneously tapping into these higher frequencies, which we interpret as a collective shift and a collective awakening. So it's not that the 3D earth is going to be going away. It is still going to be encompassed within that expansion, and the 3D will always still be there. However, these higher frequencies that we are gaining access to comes through this collective shift and awakening through the human consciousness. And this process is propelled by different shifts, planetary alignments, different cycles and seasons, which are acting as an amplifier, in my opinion, to these natural processes. Now, this brings me to another point. I mentioned in my last video that most of us are already ascended beings. We've already been through this process of ascension before, and a lot of us come from a lot higher realms than 5D. And through that, through what we would call our soul essence, the very core of who we are and where our essence comes from, when we're speaking individually, not collectively as the whole, but individually, we may be bringing through higher soul code essence, our own unique soul and light codes, which are coming from much higher realms, and we are in turn bringing that frequency into the earth. So we are collectively witnessing what I like to call the great frequency expansion of our earth and of the human consciousness. And through these times, we are going to be seeing a lot of opposition to this frequency expansion. And as I have talked about in previous videos, this opposition comes directly from forces who do not wish the human race to evolve and to become sovereign. So there has been a net that was placed around the planet and the grids, the planetary grids, and this hijacking that was done, and all of these false grid overlays that were placed over the earth to try to trap this earth in the 3D and to stop this expansion from happening as it naturally would. And as above, so below, not only was this net placed upon the earth grid, but it was also placed upon the human consciousness, on our minds, to keep us trapped within this 3D mentality. Now, I myself and many others talk about this false grid overlay that was placed upon the earth and placed upon the human consciousness, which we have been witnessing breaking down and dissolving many aspects of. However, this is a very convoluted topic because there are what we would call strongholds within this false grid overlay. So it is a very slow process of unraveling, which I will get into in another video. So, within this frequency expansion, we're not only witnessing the evolution of human consciousness, but we are also witnessing the evolution of animal consciousness. Have you noticed a lot of animals are getting smarter and smarter, and they are acting like almost like humans? So, in opposition to this natural expansion of human consciousness, we've been seeing a lot of physical representations of this overlay, of this, false grid network system. And basically, the goal of all of these systems are to stop the human consciousness from expanding and from evolving. And they may or may not be some of these things I'm going to put on the screen here that I'm not going to say out loud. But anyways, I could go on about these topics forever, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I kind of jumped around a bit there, but anyways, as always, trust your intuition, use your discernment, and follow your heart, and I'll see you guys later.